Welcome back to another random video that I make, and today we're going to be talking about 48 Toro, 48 Redmax, 48 Wright. So, just so you know first, this one has a mulch kit on it. Other than that, it's stock except for blades. This one has a mulch kit on it, and this one has the flip down dill, and it has the tweel tires. All of them were purchased new, and I will tell you that this one has about 500 hours on it. This one has, I want to say, about 700 hours. 785. And the Redmax has, I don't know, probably about 100 or so. But the main reason for this video is because I know that I'd made a video before where I was comparing the Toro 36 versus the Wright 36. And since then, we have really defined what we need in a lawnmower. So I was going to show you the pros and cons of these three mowers and what I like and which one we have decided is going to be a more long-term solution. So, Toro. It actually mows pretty good with the mulch kit. I would give it a B grade. If someone knows what they're doing, they can make it look really good. You have to double cut sometimes, stuff like that. We've tried different gator blades. We've tried the X blades, stuff like that. So the combo that we have on it now is probably best. And if anyone wants to know what that combo is, I would be more than glad to show you in another video. So you can see on this that you stand behind the back tires. So one thing that we have also noticed with the smaller ones, so this is a 48 and we also have a 36, is that this changes the center of gravity for you because you're standing behind the back tires. It also creates like a G-force when you turn. And also if you're driving up on hills or up the ramp, this is prone to pop wheelies. So you gotta kind of like, if you got a guy on a new day, and this is his first day to drive it, he's gonna have to just understand how he knows how to pull in the trailer. Like I'm just saying, if you're an idiot, you're gonna pop a wheelie. So I would say the biggest con on this one is the fact that you don't stand between the back tires, or you do stand between the back tires on the other two. These two have a better balance, if that makes sense. So Redmax. Overall length of all three of these, the Wright is the physical smallest footprint on the trailer. And I can measure it if you would like, but I would say that it is probably 6 inches shorter than all of them. Now I also will say that this is an I, so standard I. So I know that you can buy a standard B. I know you can buy a standard, I don't know if you can buy a ZK, whatever. So anyways, it's physically the smallest. Now, another thing we know about the 48s here is we really don't need to go above, let's just say 6 or 7 miles an hour, because most of the stuff we're doing is maybe up to an acre residential lawn mowing. Like, we're not trying to blow out 5 acres with it, so it doesn't need to go faster than that. So we don't need more than an eye, basically. So, Redmax. This one I would consider to be the bulkiest of the three, but one thing you also have to consider is these are the hydraulic pumps on the front. And so the motor goes all the way back to where it's almost touching you on the knees. There's a couple things about this. This one, I can drive it up as steep a slope as I want, and it is not going to tip back on me. It's not going to even try to lean, whatever. The balance is great. The way that it rotates is great. It adds some more weight to the front end, but we've just noticed even in wet conditions, it probably has the best overall like track rate to perform in those conditions because of that. Now, I will tell you, this one has the mulch kit on it. This one, I would say, has a D cut quality. That's a D. So if you're in school, A, B, C, D, D cut quality. Even if you're a pro, using a ZTR with the mulch kit or without the mulch kit, this one does not cut good. We have tried gator blades, we've tried other types of blades, we've tried all sorts of different things, and the cut quality isn't great. Are we going to get rid of it? No. Does it work? Yes. Are we going to continue to use it? Yes. My guys, this is kind of like the one that ends up in the shop, and it's the backup. So another thing we also noticed is the motor, since it is set all the way back underneath here, where this one's ahead and this one's probably about half. This one runs physically hotter over time. So like you'll feel the heat coming out of here. You'll feel the heat coming out from up here because your hands are right here. So you'll feel the physical heat coming up above. So, that being said, I mean, you can do what you said, do what you think. Now, from a rear perspective, widest, I think that one's about 2 inches narrower, and I think this one's probably about 5 or 6 inches narrower. So this one fits in tighter spaces. Even though the deck sticks out the side, this one literally fits in the better spots. Okay, so on the width of the mowers, the Redmax is wider. That's probably another reason why it has a better stance in the field. I mean, you can physically see that the platform itself is probably 4 inches wider. The size of the machines really isn't what bothered us. We will say that our guys get more tired on this by the end of the day, and I know that you think that this is dumb, but the rotating G-force and the wheel hopping is a little bit more dangerous. So from a safety perspective, standing behind it, there is a chance that it is more probable that you could get thrown off of it, I guess you could say. So now back talking about the backs. So the battery is here on this one. Battery is here on this one. I wish that we had access to the dills without taking the dill off, but I understand. But this one though, the battery is here, and it has like not a typical mower battery. You take this pin out, you pull the battery out. But I'll tell you that if the battery is dead, it is not a simple task to try to jumpstart this in the field, because you got to spend 10 minutes finagling the battery in order to try to jump it. Then once you get it started, you have to like finagle putting the battery back in while it's running. And I'm not saying that me or you can't do that, but you also have to think about your employees. Are they have that ability to do that? So our plan actually is to take this battery out, and we're going to put it over here, and we're just going to make like a drawer that it slides in and out, so that way we can, I mean, there's no reason to have that wasted space there anyways. So, but you can see how close the motor is to this on the back as well. Fuel tank, center, fuel tank side, fuel tank side. So, if you ever need to compare the three, left to right. So, I'm trying to kind of do a walk around. So, right. This one, we use it for the side discharge. I don't even know how to explain, like, changing the blades and everything on this one is way easier. And we can run just about any blade on this one that we want. And it's very, very easy, fairly easy to basically, the cut quality of the three, which I do know that these two currently have a mulch kit on them. This one, I almost don't even need a mulch kit because it cuts it up finer and throws it out. So like it physically is a way easier or a way better, I don't know, like cuts it up finer, like it bounces in the deck more. You can see that their deck kind of like has this octagon shape where both of these are more what I would consider traditional. This one also is way easier to work on the motor. So, I mean, our spark plugs are right up front, our air filters are up front. We can get to all the stuff around the sides pretty easy. Where you can see this one it's tucked back in. It's like working on a Corvette where you gotta like remove half the mower to at least get in there. And then I don't know why Toro has decided that they think it's cool that they turn the motor sideways, but it's a pain in the butt, and I wish that they would actually change it back to the way that it used to be. I'm sure they have some really brilliant like balancing, oil getting to the front of the mower better reasoning, but I don't know why. But on all of our Toro equipment, the motors are sideways, and you know, changing spark plugs and working on the opposite side of the motor is not an easy task. But I would say of these three, which we haven't had to work on this one much, this one would be the hardest to work on. But if you want to talk about hydraulics, this one would probably be the easiest to work on. So, you know, the Toro, the hydraulic pumps, I think you can see them, they're way down underneath. And obviously that one has them on the front. And then the Wright, I would say, is the second easiest to work on. They're right there. So decently easy to work on. And this cover comes off, and the hydraulic filters are down underneath. So now let's talk about the handling. So this one, you know, you push forward, you pull back. You basically have something to like hold on to while you're ZTRing. And this is your deck deal with the button on top. Let's go to this one. So this one, yes, you can hold on, but you're all the time trying to switch your hands front to back because you can't have something consistently to hold on in the middle. And then this, so to like lower the deck. So first things, when this one's running, you have to have the safety down. So you have to have your hand here when it's running. So then if you want to lower your deck, you have to press right here. So like you have to do that to lower the deck. Well, then the deck just goes boom and falls. So like you just, so it falls. Well, if you're on the grass or something, it makes a scalp spot. So like in my opinion, this needs to be changed. They need to go to a button where someone can do this with one hand, or they need to move their safety from this handle to the foot pedal, because that one has the safety on the foot pedal. And then the only thing is that really kills us is where this throttle linkage is. If you want to drive if you're going to drive close to a tree or close to something, it's going to pull your throttle back every single time. Or if you look at this one's in the center, it's protected. And you look at this one, and it is to the side, but it's also protected by other things. So we don't have a problem with that working. So I also will say, though, that since this one is on this side, like, I hope that you guys, if you're mowing against the fence or mowing against trees, you're not side discharging underneath your trees. So I hope that you're always mowing with this side against your trees or your fence or whatever. So really, realistically, if they moved this to over here, or if they put it here or here, it would solve that problem. But so then on to the Toro. So this one, it's similar to the Redmax, but the way that this one, there's less gap between them. Like you can function this with one hand and step back and forth where you can't on the Redmax. Also, once again, we got the button. The button is the plus, because then you can be driving, you can lower your deck at the same time. Dashboard and everything, no issues with where it is. Everything functions good. So I would say if I was to choose the easiest to operate, I would go Wright, then I would go Toro, and then I would go Redmax. So, if I was to sit there and compare these three and then talk about what we were physically doing, I would say that from guys preferring the piece of equipment, getting the max production, getting the most consistent quality, and the least amount of maintenance, or the easiest to work on labor, Wright is going to be your winner. So, saying that, first place, second place, third place. What would I purchase again? Right? I would not purchase another Redmax unless they made some changes. And the Toro, I think that they're planning on a remodel next year, and that might be revisited. But if Toro ever does watch this video, there's the things to get you into the next level. So, don't get me wrong. All three of these pieces of equipment are good pieces of equipment. And we're dialing in very, very fine details. But as your company grows, you also will figure out that those fine details become larger details when you talk about losing 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there over the course of the day until you multiply that times 10 guys until you got 15 of this in the field, and they're taking, you can cut production by 10%. Like, you know, it's just these details that you have to be looking at. So if you want to know what my deal is, you're right. And I will tell you that we made some drastic changes this year. Right? 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 And we are doing away with all of our sit-down units altogether. So, there's my 2 cents.